Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the One Deeper podcast. So, how does AI actually meet the road? Where are the applications? What's being built? I know it's all around us. We hear about it all the time. And I want to talk to some people who might actually be involved with the development and execution of some of these applications that use some of the AI tools that we develop and some of the things you've heard talked about in this podcast recently, and you will hear a lot more about them later on as well. So I speak to Ralf and Willem, who have a AI consultancy, and they solve very interesting problems using different AI techniques, and I just wanted to see how the rubber meets the road. I hope you learned something interesting. I hope to talk to a few more people in the industry who are working with AI tools, and I hope it serves as a starting point for your own ideas and own projects and your path forward. So please enjoy. All right, we're live. What's up, boys? Thank you for joining me Monday morning. I know you have better shit to do right now. I managed to convince you to join me here. So before I introduce you, I just wanted to for people who are listening, this is going to be very different from the usual episode that we have, because usually I talk to like very academics, like we just talk about like very nitty-gritty academic stuff, which is like most people don't even care about. But this is like my attempt to sort of see what's happening in the industry and talk to like tech people who are working in businesses, starting their own businesses, just like get that ball rolling as well. Anyway, so today I have Ralf and Willem from Zoetekouw. Do you guys want to? Okay, I mean, I don't know. Like, you guys can introduce. You can do the. You can introduce yourself. Willem, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so my name is Willem van de Geest. I'm 34 years old. I live in Veldhoven, which is very close to Eindhoven, so the Brainport region. I'm work as a data scientist. I'm already there for, 80 years or so. In the beginning of my career, I worked for multiple consulting companies, did a lot of different projects, which I really enjoyed. From insurance companies to truck manufacturers and everything in between. So a lot of different industries, which was really interesting, and learned a lot from it. A few years ago, I decided to start working for my own as a self-employed employee, and did some cool project, mainly in the field of computer vision.
Nice.
And since I think 9 months or so, I work for Dedication, where Ralf will probably tell a bit more about in a minute. And I'm still focusing on computer vision projects there.
Nice. Ralf?
Cool. Yeah, I take over. So my name is Ralf Zoetekouw. I'm 26 years old. I was also born in Veldhoven, which is now famous because of ASML.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
yeah,
yes,
you know it.
I was wondering. I was like, I've heard of this place before. Like, what? Why? Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so I moved to Maastricht, where I did my bachelor, my master's in econometrics. A lot of mathematics and a bit of economics is this study about. I worked for like 3 years as a data scientist.
Wait, you were not at Tilburg? Neither of you were at Tilburg?
No.
How did okay? So because hold on, the first time I met Ralf was like I met him. He was at Tilburg for some presentation during like one of our classes. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's important to be present at a lot of universities.
Oh, right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, a former colleague used to study. He did the cognitive science and AI masters in Tilburg.
Okay.
And I think it's a really, really good master. So I had the opportunity to speak there, to do an introduction about dedication, to speak about dedication.
Nice.
To the bachelor students, I think, and I think it was you then.
Yeah, exactly. It was me. I can't remember which class it was, but it was one of our classes, and I spoke to you afterwards. So both of you, like, what did you guys study in university? Both of you did like data science stuff, or like what's the?
Yeah.
Uh,
So Ralf did his master. Yeah, you can say.
Yeah, I did econometrics, so it's I think it's like 80% of mathematics,
right, right,
and yeah, I started in 2015. There were in the masters there were some data courses, big data analysis, but most of it is linear algebra analysis, a lot
right.
of analysis to probability theory. But there's also time series, for example. So there are some data, big data courses.
Yeah, I remember like last year when I was looking for an internship, I I was interviewed by a couple of banks. Who but in the end they decided to go with like one like I remember one bank called me back. They were like, man, we really like your profile, but this other guy who has done econometrics specifically, so like we're gonna go with him. I'm like, okay, fair enough. That makes sense, but there's a lot of overlap. Like there's a lot of stuff that we learn in AI, and which maps really well to econometrics, and then vice versa. Do a lot of econometric stuff, and people do a lot of AI stuff in that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think like mainly in the bachelor's, there is a lot of mathematics and a lot of theoretical stuff in the for econometrics regarding econometrics. In the master, it gets a bit more practical, but I think like the cognitive science and AI, you already do a lot of programming in Python. You train your own models. So I think it's really more a practical study than
Yeah,
econometric
I
study.
think like our program in particular, you can sort of like you. So the first and second year is very everyone does the same kind of thing, but even though everyone does the same subjects, I find that people gravitate towards certain directions. Like some people are very interested in the cognitive science, like psychology, the neurobiology, neuropsychology side, and there's some people who are just like straight up, just all they want to do is write code. They want to build models. They want to so I'm like I'm somewhere towards that spectrum because like I'm much more interested in the computational side. So on the third year, when you get to do your minor and pick your own courses, you find a huge like variation. So people just like that differentiation that started out in the first year or so gets really wide in the in the third year when people pick their minors. You see a lot of people doing like just some people doing just straight up biology, like just like neurobiology stuff like that. Some people doing straight up psychology, and then people like me who just like went all in on the programming, so software engineering, data science, and stuff like that. Cool. So okay, Willem, what did you study
Yeah.
in
So I did a bachelor in business administration.
mm-hmm.
And then did a postmaster afterwards at the Erasmus University in data science and AI. And I think the time that I studied was already like 6, 7, 8 years ago or so. So it feels like I'm already a bit old. And at that time there wasn't so much attention or so much studies on AI or so. So yeah, I learned most of the skills and of the knowledge via Coursera
Oh, for
and via
sure.
that
That's,
kind
I
of
mean, dude, that's like even now that like it's such a mainstream thing, like in a way, most of the things that I've learned is like I've done so
yeah,
many Coursera stuff, so many
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Udacity, and
indeed.
like they're just like it's just great. Like there's something about this subject that really works with that sort of format. I don't know what it is. Like it's just easy to learn stuff like that
uh,
instead of sitting in a lecture for like 3 hours. You just it's kind of
Sometimes you fell asleep halfway, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like it's weird. Like for a lot of the courses, it's like I get the syllabus from the course, and I know what I need to study, and just go and find my own material
yeah,
online.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
way easier to do it.
So it's a really good time to be alive now, isn't it? Because all the knowledge is so much
Oh, for sure.
distributed. So that's really cool.
Yeah, there's so
Coursera,
many.
Data Camp, Data Academy.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So many resources, and for anyone who's listening, like if you want to do a course on Coursera, you can pretty much do any course for free. all you
Yeah.
have to do is like click the financial aid button, and then you just email them and say, here's why I want to do this, and
Yeah,
like they have a little form you fill, and like the point is anyone who wants it can get it.
yeah,
There's a 2 week waiting period, so like just to like get people to pay for it if they want to pay for it. But other than that, if you want to do anything on Coursera, like you can just like find financial aid button there on the course page, click it, fill the form, and then 2 weeks they'll approve it, and then you can do whatever you want, and then you get the certificate and stuff like that.
yeah,
But hopefully, like one day I'll be able. I'm probably gonna like pay for the annual Coursera Plus. You pay up like $400, you get access to everything. You can do
yeah,
whatever all the podcasts. Like that's something I want to do. Anyway, all right, sorry, that's a complete tangent, but I think you find that it'll happen quite a lot. Just random tangents, right?
yeah.
Okay, so you both went to work for other people before you started went into your own thing, right? So after graduation, you work for companies. Do you guys want to talk about like what kind of work you guys did before you decided to go off on your own?
Yeah, sure. So I started working at a company called Mensis, which is a health insurance company. And to be honest, I didn't have a clue when I started working on what I wanted to do actually. So I just applied for a position as a data analyst at the Mensis. And I remember the time that I went to the application and I read one last time through all the description, etc., and I still didn't have a clue. But I just thought, okay, I like working with data, and I'm like a bit rational. So I thought I'd just go to that application and let's see what happens. And yeah, at the end of the conversation, the manager told me, Willem, we still officially we have to do a second round, but I never had an application like this, so you're yeah, you
No,
will definitely get the job. And I also was really enthusiastic about it, and then I just started working, and I learned a lot from did all kind of courses, and yeah, had a great time over there. But then after a few years, I wanted to do something else, and I want to broaden my horizon. And I started working for consulting companies.
nice, nice, nice.
I
So
become,
what's it? So like, what's it like? So your consulting was mostly data science stuff, or like analysis
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So you go. So what is the like life of a consultant like?
Yeah, what I really like is that you be surrounded with people in the consulting company who also focusing solely on your topic. So that's data science in my case. So there are a lot of experts where you can learn a lot from. So that's definitely a big plus compared with working for yeah, like other industries. So if you work as a data scientist for example, an insurance company or so, there are not so much people who are yeah, who have knowledge about data science. So that's a big difference with working with big plus for working with a consultancy company, in my opinion. And also, of course, there's a very broad spectrum of customers and projects that you can do, and every project has different challenges. So different tool set, maybe different techniques that you might use, different colleagues, different cultural yeah, challenges. So yeah, that's something that you definitely learn a lot from. So that was the reason that I wanted to work for consulting companies, and still and I really enjoy the work for consulting companies. Yes.
Yeah, to add there, maybe like in the morning you're talking with an oncologist about pancreas cancer and how to diagnose it via CT scans using computer vision. And in the afternoon you're talking to a guy from the shipment industry, which has a bit of big tattoo on his arm of a
Uh,
talking about natural language processing for emails that come in there quite often. So that's what makes the life really diverse, I think. And
uh,
yeah, that's a cool life, I
Yeah,
think.
that's cool. Like, and how do you guys, like, in your experience, how do you find like, um, in terms of how prepared companies are to use AI tools and data science tools in their businesses? Like, I find, like, I feel like there's a big there's a wide spectrum. Like even though it's, if you go on LinkedIn and if you're like you see this, oh, everyone's talking about AI, everyone's talking about data science, blah blah blah. But in terms of actually putting that stuff into practice,
Hmm.
I feel like companies really like, okay, if you're, for example, if you're starting a business now, or like if you're starting a business like a few years ago, you sort of have this in the back of your mind, right? It's like, okay, I want to set up my businesses and my processes in a way such that I can leverage AI tools, data science tools. So I want to make my data easily accessible. It should be clean, like from the beginning, to make it easier. It should be well structured. Like, what are the things I want to measure? Where do I want to put my sensors, etc. But if you were a company that's been around for a while, right, you find that like they're still kind of, actually, I mean, this has been my experience because I worked for like 5 years before I came back to university. They're not well prepared. Like they don't have the infrastructure in place to actually use these kind of things. What do you think? Like,
Yeah, yeah. So I agree upon that. It's maybe funny. I started 2 years ago with Datacation, and I started really as an AI machine learning company. I thought everyone is looking for great solutions in the field of AI and machine learning. When I was in the field, I felt like, okay, no one is really ready for this, so we have to take it 3 steps back. And that's why we introduced kind of a quick scan. We walked together with some companies. We asked a lot of business questions, business related questions, and the things that came out there was, okay, we do have a lot of data, but how can we get value out of it? So that was really the first step. And the second step is then, okay, you have a lot of different data sources, a lot of unstructured data, structured data, how to make a good infrastructure. So then the data engineers start to work. From there on, the next step is some visualizations to make your data using dashboards, for example. And then finally, and after 1 or 2 years, companies are ready for cool stuff.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Machine
Like,
learning.
yeah, companies, like people who've been like I feel, even in tech, I don't know about tech, but generally you have to sort of wet their feet with some like cool stuff, like show them some nice pictures, be like, "Yeah, look at some good stuff we can do, and if you put some stuff here, we can do some more stuff. We can do more predictive things." But like, so when you guys go work for a company, or when you talk to a company, how hard is it to figure out where, I mean, I guess this depends from case by case, but where the maximum leverage is, to like, where can you apply something to, like, so you go see a company, it's like, okay, you do some initial exploration, right? And what's the process to figure out, okay, like, this is where we could plug this thing in and have some maximum return on investment.
Yeah, yeah, I think the most important part is there to ask a lot of questions. And before you start with a project, just walk for 1 day at the company to see what's happening over there, to ask a lot of business questions. And to also, sometimes they already want, okay, we want to use AI. They don't know even what AI is, but
Right.
they want to use it. And then first we have to say, okay, do you really want to use it? Or what is really
Oh man,
your business question?
dude, that's so funny because like the more I've learned, the more I realize, like, dude, you can answer so many of these questions with a linear regression. Like, you don't need like you don't like like the cool thing, the cool kids these days just throw a neural network at any problem and it'll solve it for them, right? That's the cool thing to do. But
Yeah.
like even neural networks, it's just a polynomial function, right? Like generally
Mm.
speaking, like if you tell someone, oh, I can just fit a polynomial to this problem, they will like, what the fuck? No, I want a neural network, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, it can be good. And it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like that's interesting because like, yeah, if you want to solve the problem in the most reasonable way, right? So like that's it. That's I want. So that's cool. So when you are considering options for an AI application, what are some of the factors that you think in terms of like how complex should the model be? Like what kind of model should we use? Like is it? I mean, I'm assuming it's case by case by business, but in terms of like maybe some businesses want it to be more explainable. Like, okay, I want you to be able to explain why this decision is made, which is kind of hard to do with, let's say, a neural network. Like, what do you guys think when you have a problem with it?
Yeah, indeed. So, well, in my experience, most of the companies really don't care so much on the technique. So they just have a business problem and want it to be solved.
Right.
And it's up to, let's say, the expert, so the machine learning expert, to determine which model suits the situation best. Of course, there are also some companies that going to, let's say, a conference or so and hear about AI and just want to have it. But I think in general, most of the companies don't care about the technique to use. And then it's up to, let's say, us to determine which suits the situation best. So based on how much time you can spend on investigation, or how the data is already available, or maybe what the budget is, or how explainable it should be, that kind of questions. So therefore, it's so important to just first start asking those kind of questions without already have the technique in mind, and then trying to apply that technique. That's really not so important. You just have to understand the needs of the customer, and then choose a technique that fits that situation.
Yeah, maybe I should have started off with asking you to like to talk about dedication first, because I completely like I just assumed everyone like because I know what you guys do. So could you are describe what you guys do at dedication real quick, just to so we can backtrack and make sense of what you're talking about here.
Yeah, okay. So Datacation is a data science consultancy firm. We have like 15 colleagues, 15 data scientists, data engineers. We have offices in Eindhoven at the Uithof campus, in the AI Innovation Center, and also in Amsterdam near the VU campus at the Zuidas. What we're doing is mainly project based. We're making solutions for all different kind of industries. Like I said, the healthcare, shipment industry, soccer clubs, what more? Automotive industry, all kind of different solutions, and it mainly varies from, like I said in the beginning, like a quick scan, more a data strategy plan. Second step is the data infrastructure. Then most of the time dashboarding, data analytics. And then the fourth part, which is the best part, we think, is the data science solutions. And then we have like 4 different fields. The first one is computer vision solutions, so photo data analysis. Second one is natural language processing, so text data analysis. The third one is optimization techniques using AI to make the most complex optimization problems easier to solve and faster to solve. And the fourth one is we use a lot of time series data, for example, for predictive maintenance
Nice.
kind of solutions. Yeah.
So, do you guys mostly work in the Netherlands? Do you guys work internationally? What's the market like?
Most of the clients, I think, like 90% is from the Netherlands. We have one big client from America, and we also have some clients from Belgium.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, you just mentioned off like a bunch of different fields, like the 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 breadth of industries that are trying to use these things to get more efficient, more productive is huge, right? Like there's so many different things. Like what are like? Can you just give us some examples of the companies that you work with? Like just some different companies. Well, I mean, you don't tell your name, tell the names if you can't tell them. Just the industries.
we can say names. For example, ING, the bank. We did a lot of dashboarding there and a bit data infrastructuring for the financial department. For UMC Utrecht, the healthcare project, we're doing investigation. Maybe Willem, you can elaborate on that. It's your project.
Yeah, so at the UMC Utrecht, which is a university hospital in the Netherlands, and we're trying to improve the diagnosis of pancreatic cancer there. So it's very difficult for doctors and radiologists to diagnose people with pancreatic cancer, especially in the post-operative situation. So after the first operation, trying to remove all the cancer tissue, then there's a second diagnosis to determine if the operation went well and all the cancer tissue was removed. That's really difficult for doctors and radiologists to determine if that's the case. And now we are collaborating with UMC Utrecht to improve that post-operative diagnosis based on CT scans, which are actually just 3D images. So
Right.
that's also a really, really interesting case that, also gives a lot of energy to work on, of course, because it's really...
AI that is best.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So like, how do you guys? So if you're doing a predict, so we had this AI ethics course, right? And like, so before I did any of this, I actually did an engineering degree. So I felt like I was the only person in the classroom thinking like, yeah, these are all great ideas, but like, like when the rubber hits the road, you actually build these things. Like, what's the actual practical? Like, what's the practical cost and practical thing? So like, it's nice to sit in a class, talk about ethics and like all these abstract things. So what I want to ask you is like, let's say you're doing this thing with Utrecht for the diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
Or any sort of algorithm based predictive thing. Like, how do you guys handle the liability stuff? Like, what's the like? I don't have a great question here, but I'm just trying to get an idea of like,
Yeah.
what's that like what's the conversation what is the conversation that you guys are having with your clients when it comes to who's responsible when you use these algorithms?
Yeah. So that's of course, especially in healthcare, that's really important. And we are just at this moment, we are not in the phase that we already are applying this algorithm in real world practice, but it's just at this moment it's in the research phase. So we're investigating if this is possible. But we definitely, of course, already thinking on how good should this be? How could we explain the outcomes? So these kind of ethical questions definitely are important, even in this phase already. So we have like a group of people, so some technical people like us, but also people from UMC Utrecht, the experts in the field, where we can already discuss these kind of topics. So yeah, it's definitely, I would say, really, really important, especially in the healthcare, to from the first start of the project, that you already take all the ethical questions into account.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Like, it's a tricky thing. Like, I mean, I know one of my professors back in. So I was in the US before this. One of my professors in the US, he was responsible for building like engineering smoke alarms and smoke detectors, right?
Mm.
So like the amount of like liability and the life risk, life and death consequences of his work. I spoke to him like on a podcast about it, and it's pretty interesting. Okay, so you have dedication, which is all this data consultancy. What about Aerovision? What's the plan of that? What is it, first of all, and what are you guys
I'll
trying to
do
do
a
with
quick
it?
introduction,
Sure,
and then
sure.
you can take over.
Please.
So for dedication, we're doing a lot of cool AI and machine learning implementations, as well as data engineering and dashboarding, but it's all for other customers, of course. So it's not really scalable, as in so we were always looking at, okay, how can we think of a problem that is really scalable and has pain for like a lot of different industries. So doing this consultancy projects, we see some potentials in the market, and that was always the goal of dedication, to get also spin-offs out of the consultancy. And Willem had together we had a great idea, Aerovision, and you can maybe tell a bit more about that.
Yeah, so like I said, I work mainly in the field of computer vision, and what we saw there is that although the application of the computer vision algorithm, it can be different in each situation, the algorithms and the underlying structures are like for 90% the same each time, but you only have to give other inputs to the algorithm, and then it gives another output. But the structures, the layers, the network itself is more or less the same. And also what we experienced at a lot of different customers is that it's very difficult for them to implement computer vision algorithms because it's technical, it's a black box, they don't know, don't have the knowledge. It might be a bit scary, it might be also costly for them to implement their own customized solution. So we definitely wanted to make that easier for customers. So we were thinking about developing our own no-code platform, and also we experienced that there are a lot of companies popping up in the field of drones. So the flying objects that you can use, for example, for inspection of bridges, or in the agriculture, there are a lot of drones used there, or apartments or windmills. So there are a lot of inspections at this moment being done by by drones. And we wanted to make it easier for droning companies to use AI to analyze all the drone footage.
Right.
And therefore, we are setting up the company AeroVision, which is a platform for drone companies to be able to implement AI solutions themselves without having to have the technical knowledge.
Yeah, like so it's like WordPress or Foursquare for building your own AI platform.
Yeah, indeed.
That's a great idea, because like I remember a time when to build your own website was like you have to know how to write, like you have to know how to write code, you have to know you have to know you have to know how the web works, you have to know how like IP addresses work, you have to know how all these like back end things work, databases work. Now you just log on to WordPress or Foursquare or whatever it is, and just like drag and drop the nice little templates you want, the things you want, the back end you want, and like boom, like 10 minutes you could have a fully functional web. Like go to Shopify and you have a fully functional web store and like blog, and it's crazy, right? So it's I can definitely see AI becoming this kind of stuff. Uh, like for example, that's one of the things I like about this field is like you can sort of democratize a lot and make intelligence much more scalable, right? uh, One of the best examples that I give is that diagnosing retinopathy with the scans of the eye, and you have AI models now that can do that with like better than human accuracy to diagnose diabetic retinopathy. Retinopathy is damage to the blood vessels in your eye caused by diabetes, and now with just a smartphone camera and like a small attachment, you can go to the place where you get your eyes checked for like your glasses, and they can do a thing which is awesome, because that used to be a really expensive procedure with like multiple trained physicians and like a whole thing, right? Which is not accessible to most parts of the world. Like here in the Netherlands, yeah, sure. In the US, yeah, sure. In like developed countries, yeah. But like in Africa, Sri Lanka, India, these villages, you can't really do that. But now with like something like what you guys are building with AeroVision, let's say I'm a farmer in Sri Lanka, and like I need a way to friggin' track my cattle as they wander around my property. Go online, build a like so like usually the gateway would be I would have a son or a daughter, son or a daughter who's like, hey, don't do it this way. Let me go show you how to do it this way, and then like go on. Like, so that's what I do for my dad, right? Like he's 68 now, so like whenever he's doing something, like I'm like, hey, dude, don't do that. Like go do this. This is way faster. And so basically now, if I'm a farmer, I can be like, okay, just go online. I'm gonna go buy a drone, which are like now really cheap, right? They used to be
Yeah.
crazy expensive. Now you can buy it for like less than the cost of a cell phone. Buy
Yeah.
a drone, buy some, go online, sign up for for Aerovision. Boom! I have a thing that can track my cattle, tell me what they're doing, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's insanely powerful, man. That's like that's got a potential to like really open up productivity for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
So like what else do you guys have? Like, do you have anything else in the pipeline? Like, I mean, Aerovision, obviously. So what? So you want to build that out to be like a standalone thing, like something like WordPress, so people can just come in, sign up, pop their data in, and and get to work, right?
Yes, indeed. So it should be like a platform that can use on its own. But of course, we also need all kinds of integrations with existing platforms. So, for example, at this moment, when you use drones, typically you use, for example, a fleet management tool where all the information that the drone gathers is stored, like the position of the drone and all the drone images, the images that you took, and all kind of metadata of the drone. So of course we should also integrate with these kind of platforms
Mhm.
to be able to make it as easy as possible for drone users to to implement and develop AI solutions. So it will not be like the ivory tower solution, of course, but yeah, indeed, it should be a platform where it is as easy as possible to implement AI solutions within a day. That's what our promise is towards our customers. Yes.
That's awesome.
Well,
So with in terms of you guys also mentioned you've done some NLP work, right? What are the kind of things that are people? What are the kind of problems that customers are looking to solve in your experience with NLP at least?
Yeah. So most of the time it's regarding emails.
Right.
So, for example, for the shipment industry, there is a lot of unstructured data going on, like more than 10,000 emails a day. Shipment industry in Dutch is called rederij receives. And it's like it's a really old-fashioned industry.
Mhm.
All everything goes there with with a head to say, and like they are typing everything out loud in open field boxes. So for example, they write, "Hello, my name is Ralf. At 7 in the morning, I will be at the Rotterdam harbor with this so many tons of steel, and at the afternoon I will pass by, and I want to go to Argentina with so many tons of grain. Who can help me out with my steel and who has grain for me? Bye, 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 bye. Best regards, Ralf." With a lot of typos and a lot of different abbreviations that don't exist. Uh, so it's the most unstructured data you can imagine. And our task is then to write an NLP that picks out like the five most important fields. For example, time of arrival, location, and what is the what do they bring, and what are they asking for, like the load. And also for insurance companies, they get a lot of emails coming in. They want to act live on these emails. So, for example, when there's some kind of insurance that is not that clear for the customers, they get like 100 mails in the morning about this insurance, and they want to directly see, okay, what is going on? Where do we get the most of emails about? For example, about this insurance, and then they can already put it on their website at the front page, more information about this insurance, blah blah blah, and that really helps because there are like the employees, they don't get that many emails then anymore, and also the customers are way more happy because problems are solved way faster. So that
Right.
are some NLP. I don't know if you have something to add there.
yeah. Like I said, a lot of in customer service, we have a lot of customers there, and we see a lot of demand from the market. Indeed, incoming emails, also incoming phone calls. So first, you typically see in that situation first the speech to text conversation, and then NLP based on the generated text actually. So that's also something that we see quite often.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about ChatGPT? It's like,
Yeah, it's great.
have you guys played with it at all, or?
Of course.
And it's
Uh,
great. Yeah, I think first of all, it's also great promotion for the field of AI.
yeah,
Like a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people now know what's going on, and they can experiment themselves a bit. And they like the adoption of AI really fastens, I think. And also for the education, it's nice because a lot of companies now hear again of AI and they see, okay, maybe this is the future. I want to do something with it, and like it's also free promotion for AI
yeah,
consultancies.
yeah, yeah. Sure.
And it's a really great tool, of course, to clear, to make your code a bit structured. Um,
One of my friends in Sri Lanka, he runs a really large corporation, and he was like, "Hey, man, is there any way to use this thing to like so that my executives can like ask basically a chatbot,
mhm.
basically a chatbot that can like say, okay, hey, what was the like, hey, what were the quarterly blah 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 for last year, and the bot will just answer correctly, right?
Uh,
So
uh,
a lot of these applications, cool.
no.
Okay, so
And also,
anyway,
maybe if I can add one more thing there. So it's indeed, I totally agree. It's a very good promotion for AI, and that all AI companies can benefit for it. But it's also, I think, for the developer itself, it's also a really good tool that you can use to become more productive, to to help improve your code, and
yeah, for sure.
to
Like I use it. I mean, I use it for like I use the VS Code plugin, GitHub Copilot. I use it quite a bit, but only like I don't quite trust it that much yet.
Mm,
But I use it for like little simple things. Like if I want to like write a quick loop to like do some really small thing, something that I already know how to do, but I just can't be bothered writing the thing. I just say here, write a loop here, take something that takes an array, moves it this direction, does this thing to it, and returns it, so that when I get the reply, I can inspect the code and I can say, okay, yeah, that should work. You know, like because I know how to do it, I just don't want to write the whole thing to do it myself. So that's useful. Okay, before I let you guys go, just wanted to ask one last thing about like any about starting your own business. Like, what's the like if you want like I don't know any advice for someone or like any people who want to start their own business because you guys done went from working for someone doing your own consultancy. Like, what was like the biggest hurdle or like the how do you make the decision like okay, you know what, damn it, that's it, I'm done, I'm gonna make my own thing here.
Phew.
uh,
Yeah,
I know,
the only way to do
put
it
you
is
on the
to just
spot.
do it. I think you don't have to think about it too much
Yeah,
and just start. And yeah, when you're really dedicated and you really want something and you wish for it, if you in the morning when you wake up, it's the first thing you want to improve. You, when you go to bed, you sleep with it. So it really has to become your passion, and you really want to do everything for it. Then I think, the only thing you can do is succeed. So don't think too much about it and follow your heart. And I think
mm.
that's just do the necessary actions, the required necessary actions you have
no,
to
that's
do.
I completely like that. That makes sense to me. Like it's like having a cold shower. It's like don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
Just go do it. Like
Yeah.
because if you think about it too much, you're not gonna do it. It's like this is gonna suck. But if you just like just go do it, man, it's not a big deal.
uh, yeah, indeed.
All right, this has been
Yeah,
awesome.
I can only agree with that. Well, I think there are a lot of people with a lot of great ideas, and most of them, well, already stop before starting actually. So, but that's only in their minds that it's not possible, or that there are big hurdles or big barriers for them to not succeed. But if you just get started and are passionate about it and try to find the right people surrounding you, then even if your initial idea will not be a great success, then at least you learn a lot from it. So yeah, just
Yeah,
well,
Never
absolutely.
stop stopping. Stop
and
stopping.
stop stopping.
Stop
Indeed,
stopping.
yeah.
Stop stuffing, yeah, for sure. That's for sure. And getting the right people, like you just said, is also super key. All right, guys, this has been great. I'm not gonna take up much more of your time. Thank you so much. I want to wish you guys the best of luck with your upcoming projects and with Aerovision. I hope it works out. I'm really like I like that idea a lot, and like I hope it really comes to fruition. So yeah, thanks again, and
Thank you so much, Udesh.
no
Really
worries,
nice
man.
speaking to you.
Yeah,
Thanks
absolutely.
for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll catch you guys next time.
Okay.
All right. See ya.
See ya. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been a One Deeper podcast. Thanks for joining, and I hope you learned something. Catch you again next time.